Hi everybody, Scott here from Narrow Road Living. This video is all about this little guy, the mealworm, and how I've learnt to farm them over the last 12 months. But before we get into that, on their own they're pretty vulnerable and not very powerful, but in their hundreds and thousands they can move watermelon. After having our chickens for about a year, I realised that their appetites were larger than expected. Other than store-bought chicken feed, kitchen scraps and greens from our garden that are not always consistent, we had no other options. I stumbled on the humble mealworm on YouTube and decided to give farming them a go. My goal was to feed our chickens a daily snack of mealworms. So we started with 1 kilo, about 2.2 pounds of mature mealworms. I kept them inside for the first 9 months so that I could observe them more easily and give the worms a more consistent temperature. We got these storage containers from Kmart for about $50 Australian, but we added another 2 levels to suit our system. The first goal was to let the mealworms progress through the stages of pupa and through to the beetle stage. It took about 2 to 4 weeks to start seeing pupae. As per the videos I watched, I took them out and placed them in a separate container to avoid them being cannibalized by the mealworms. After about 2 weeks, we started to see brown beetles. I placed the beetles in their bins with bran and oats as the substrate, egg cartons for shelter from the light, and carrots for food. We ended up with enough beetles to start 5 separate bins. In saying that, I reckon close to half of the pupae died using this method. I've since found leaving the pupae in the bin with the other mealworms is more successful at producing more beetles. I'd be curious to know what your experience has been with these two methods. Please share in the comments. With our new beetle population ready to go, I left them to mature and begin mating and laying eggs for about 8 weeks. The first time I did this, I couldn't see any mealworms, but assumed they were there. So I prepared 5 new bins with bran, oats and carrots to transfer the beetles into. While I have seen the mesh bottom method that allows the eggs to fall through, I decided to try sifting the material, but found it time consuming and too disruptive to the beetles. So now I gently remove the beetles by hand. For a small mealworm farm, I have found doing it manually a suitable method. That is now a mealworm tray on here. And the beetles go there. I remember the first time I did this, about a day or so later after moving the bin, I saw hundreds of tiny mealworms frolicking around the carrots. I repeat the process, but instead I transfer the beetles into a new bin every 4 weeks and move the baby mealworms down. This seems to be a good amount of time for more eggs to be laid. Over time, I fill the remaining 3rd, 4th and 5th levels with young mealworms. So here's a top-down view of each bin. The top bin is the beetles. So I'm attempting to try to build the beetle numbers up again. This is the 3-month-old mealworms. So they're looking healthy and strong. This is the 2-month-old. Obviously just a little smaller overall. And the 1-month-old. This is the mealworms I'm letting go through to become beetles. When the mealworm bins are about 12 weeks old, I do some maintenance. I vacuum the top of the bins to remove the mealworm's shed skin. I then remove any old food and sift the material to remove the frass, that's mealworm poo, using a 1mm sieve. The frass is really fine. It's actually quite nice to touch actually. It's like a fine sand, but it's very dusty. If you get allergies, it's just not good to breathe it in. So a mask is a must in my opinion. I then sift the old substrate using a 5mm sieve, leaving only the mealworms. We've got the frass. We've got the remaining substrate and any mealworms that got through, and then we've got the mealworms. So what I really like about this system is that basically nothing goes to waste. any remaining substrate gets used. The substrate gets eaten and turns into frass, and that gets used. Any leftover carrot that sort of dries up and doesn't get eaten goes into the compost. I then fill the bins with fresh substrate and food and return the mealworms to the bin to mature for another 4 weeks before I begin feeding them to the chickens. Put that in there. One down. Another reason I sift the bins at 12 weeks is the old substrate that I sift still has mealworms in it of various sizes. I combine the leftover substrate from all 5 bins and let the remaining mealworms progress to become beetles to maintain the beetle population. I started this process after about 6 months of having the original beetles when I noticed an increase of dead beetles in the bins. My beetle population has decreased as a result, and I am attempting to build up the beetle population again. Once the mealworms are approximately 3 to 4 months old, I start feeding the mealworms to the chickens, about a handful or 2 a day. After the mealworms were in the house for about 9 months, I started to notice little moths in the substrate. So eventually it was time to move them outside. At the moment we have them under the patio covered with a blanket to give them a darker environment. Moving the farm outside has had its challenges though. Firstly, we needed to move them outside during the summertime, and I think the beetles have struggled with some of the hot days, leading to more dead beetles. A mealworm bin that I populated with a lot of mealworms ready for feeding to the chickens also struggled with a 40-degree day, leading to a loss of half of the mealworms in that bin. I think the hot weather combined with their body heat exhausted the mealworms, but we live and learn. Unfortunately, the smell of this bin attracted an ant invasion. You know what's coming, don't you, Wings? Do you know what it is, Wings? I reckon you do. I ended up feeding the whole bin to the chickens, solving the ant problem. I've found that both the mealworm and beetle bins need new food about every 2 to 3 days. Carrots have been the best for both mealworm and beetle bins, with watermelon rind being a favourite for the mealworms. So this is what is left of a rind of watermelon. I was pleased to find out that frass, their manure, is a very valuable byproduct of having mealworms, as it can be a great fertilizer for plants. This is a good thing as they poo a lot. My process is to pour the sifted frass into a container and store it for about 1 month to make sure that all the eggs have hatched and died, leaving only the frass. Then it is ready to be used in the garden or given to the worms to make castings or added to compost. The farm currently produces about 3 kilos of mealworms and about 5 to 6 kilos of frass every month. This is how I've organised my mealworm farms. The first level holds all the beetles. The second level holds 4-month-old mealworms ready for feeding. I feed about 2 to 4 pieces of carrot every 2 days. The third level holds the 3-month-old mealworms. I feed 2 pieces of carrot every 2 to 3 days. The fourth level holds 2-month-old mealworms. I feed 1 to 2 pieces of carrot every 3 days or so. The fifth level holds 1-month-old mealworms. I feed them 1 piece of carrot about every 3 days. The sixth level holds the mealworms that I let go through to become beetles. The remaining bins on this level are used for storing things like sieves and cardboard. There are probably better ways to farm mealworms, but this is what has evolved and is working for me, and no doubt I'll improve upon it as time goes by. I would be interested in ways I could improve my system, so if you have any ideas, please leave a comment.
You're all here. What time is it? Hello? They're a bit excited.
Thanks heaps for watching to the end. Subscribe for more videos and give the video a like. Check out our amazing beeswax candles. The link is in the description, and we'll see you in another video.